Hello. If you don't know who I am Nancy Alexandra of ladybugwreaths.com and nancy'sinnercircle.com. I am so blessed and honored to be talking to each of you today. I love getting on Facebook Live, and I love seeing everybody coming in and your little remarks over to the side. I am using my desktop instead of a phone or an iPad. I've found a new program where I can go live on Facebook without having to use my phone. I'm using my computer and my monitor, and it is so much easier for me. If you had seen the way I would have to set up my iPhone so I could talk to you, you would die laughing, but that's not why I want to talk to you today. I want us to talk about fibromyalgia today. I think most of you know me, but if you don't, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia when I was 28 years old. No, I didn't. I was not diagnosed when I was 28. I came down with fibromyalgia when I was 28 years old. I was diagnosed when I was 56 years old. So I went for almost 30 years not knowing what was wrong with me. I do have some people here. Hey, I am glad to see y'all. About the end of December, I posted in my free Facebook group, my Grow with Nancy group, asking them what was holding them back from succeeding and growing their business. And I've known for a long time that a lot of ladies who follow me they're fighting chronic illnesses just as I have been for many years. And they posted that was one of the main things that was holding them back. Now, I still don't know exactly how many of you there are. I know there are a lot. And I know what fibromyalgia did to me, to my body, to my health, to my life, to our marriage, to my family. It affects every single thing that you do, every part of your life. And we discussed yesterday or the day before when I did a Facebook Live about growing your business, steps that you could take to succeed, to be a success. A couple of days before that, we talked about faith versus fear. So a lot of people who are suffering from fibromyalgia are afraid. They're afraid to step out and to try something and to reach out to others and to put theirself out there on a Facebook group or in an Etsy shop. I'm going to check and make sure that we are still live because something's looking a little bit different on my screen. Bear with me just a moment. Okay. I don't want to go through all of this and not have all of you listening to me who wanted to join me today. Let me share this with my group very quickly. Okay. All right. So we'll keep going. Let me know when you come in. Let me know if you can hear me, if the video is clear. If you'd like, let me know where you live. I'd like to welcome you when you join me today. Fibromyalgia is one of the most undiagnosed illnesses that there are. And it is an illness. For many years, everybody said it was all in my head. I knew it wasn't in my head. I knew it was in my body. But doctors didn't believe me. And I went to lots of doctors. They just did not believe that something was attacking my body as badly as it was. And I've gotten I've gone back and looked at a lot of your responses and a lot of your quotes and statements talking about fibromyalgia and what it does to your life and how it's affected everyone's life. I'm going to go over some of those today. There is a sweet lady in our group, Joan Ditmars. She says, when you posted your last post regarding fibro, I felt like it sent me, I felt it was sent from me because I felt like that for so many years and I did not understand why. At Christmas this year, I had a stirring in my spirit. I felt the Lord telling me to step out, and I have. Good for you, Joan. That's what you have to do. You're still going to hurt. You're still going to struggle. You're still going to be reaching out for God and wondering why He's not healing your body. But that stirring that you felt was from Him, and you're doing what He wants you to do with the gift He's given you. Cindy Cathers, she says, me too. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia 3 years ago after years, no decades of struggles. That's like me, Cindy. And it is hard. It's hard to go for that long. And to know that you are sick and to know that you do have a problem and to know that you're not being diagnosed and no one believes you. Kathy Hicks, I have fibromyalgia. My life has changed so much. People don't understand. They say you look good. And they do. It is an illness that you can be in severe pain, but yet you can stand with a group of people and you can smile and you can talk when you actually just feel like you're dying inside. But you can hide it. You learn to hide it because people don't understand it. There are some more quotes here. Let's see. Let me find some of these things that ladies have told me. Teresa says, I was also diagnosed with fibromyalgia over 20 years ago. Yes, we do tend to push ourselves and not listen to our bodies, but we are learning. It's a day-to-day process. Cecile Mosley, Nancy, you know I feel your pain because she has fibromyalgia and she has a lot of other health problems too. But we're all reaching out. We are all using our gift. We are all pushing forward in spite of the pain. And that's what some of you have asked. How can you do that? Why? How? Why? Someone will talk about that in a few minutes. Carol says, I've just joined your group today. I want to start making wreaths so I can help offset the cost of my medical bills since I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And I know how that is, Carol, because back when I was sick and we were going from doctor to doctor to doctor, insurance paid for a while, then it would quit paying. And I had to keep searching. I was not going to give up. We got a lot of debt on credit cards. just to pay doctors, to have tests done, to go to different types of doctors that don't even take insurance because you're desperate and you need an answer. And when the legitimate medical profession doesn't help, you go to doctors who can help you with your vitamins and your minerals and your nutrients that you need in your body. Now, I said legitimate a minute ago. I didn't mean that these other types of doctors that you might see were not legitimate, because the one that I finally saw that saved my life is a nutritionalist. But she is one who has medical degrees from every teaching hospital. I don't want to say every teaching hospital in the world, but more than you can possibly count. Her office is lined with diplomas from teaching hospitals. Fibromyalgia, it hit me really hard. I mean, I went from taking care of 2 children and another child during the day, along with mine, and exercising. I was going to a gym. I was walking. I was running. I would get out in the backyard with a mattock and a hoe and a shovel, and I would dig a garden. I was cutting my grass. I was washing and waxing cars because I just loved to do that stuff. I would paint the house. I would make curtains. I would reupholster furniture. And then almost overnight, I was flat on my back. And I just knew it had to be a virus. It had to be something like that to hit me so severely and so fast. And every day I would pray. I would pray to God, please heal me. Whatever I have done, whatever you want me to learn, if I've not listened to your will for my life, if I haven't heard you when you've been speaking to me, please, I will do whatever. I will follow you. I will do whatever you ask me to do with my life. And I prayed that prayer every day for a very, very, very long time, until I'm ashamed to say I just finally felt like that God wasn't listening to me. You finally get to a point where you think, my prayers are not being answered. So what do? Do I keep praying? And after a while, you can't find the words to pray anymore because you've prayed all those words. And I was reading in my Bible, and I'd read verse after verse after verse, but then after a while, the words would just kind of run together, and the pain would mask what I was trying to listen to, what I was trying to feel and to get from God. And it is so hard. I don't want to go into too much of this because I went through this for years, and I don't want this to be a down, sad, upsetting talk about fibromyalgia. I want it to be encouraging and uplifting, and I want you to know that God is with you and that God is in your body, and He's in your heart, and He's in your spirit. And there is a reason that He may not be healing you right that moment. And it's probably not something that you've done or haven't done. It's the path that He has for your life. Excuse me, my mouth is getting really dry. Have you ever tried one of these zeros with vitamin water? They're really good. Boy, there is just so much I could say, and so much I want to say. Let me go back to some of your messages real quick. Kathleen says she's in pain every day. Bonnie says, thanks for this. I just got back from the pain clinic. How do doctors not see the deteriorating layers we experience? Waiting for my ride home. Today a very cool thing happened. The folks in the I can't talk today. The folks in the waiting room had a spontaneous prayer intercession for each other. Oh, Bonnie, that is awesome. That is just totally awesome. Cindy Doherty. I have the best doctors in the world, Boston, Mass. Much love from Cape Cod. When you finally find a really, really good doctor, your life does change. But in my case, I found that doctor in God's time. It wasn't anything that I did or didn't do to find that doctor when I did, or to keep me from finding that doctor when I did. Debbie says your life before fibro and the activities are KY story also, until you can't go anymore. I now know that if I had not gone through all of those years of the hurt and the pain and the tears and the crying out to God, that I would not be sitting right here in this desk today talking to you, wanting to let you know that you can succeed and you can grow, and God does have a path for you. If I had not gone through all of that, I would not be here. I probably would not even have started selling wreaths on the internet, because that was kind of my last choice. That was my last thing that I could physically do and not have to work for someone else. That was just kind of where I turned, because I was not going to give up. I was not going to lay in bed every day, because I had done that for 5 years. I was not going to lay on a couch every day or lay back and watch TV and have someone else wait on me. People think, oh, well, that'd be a good life. No, it would not be a good life. To be able to be involved with your family and take care of your children and go to baseball and soccer and sports and basketball and be a room mother at school and bring food and cupcakes for all the parties and all of the things that I usually missed out on. Those are the things that are important. So I don't mean to be hesitating today. I usually don't on these calls, but this is, there's just so much, and it's so hard. And I want to encourage you. God was working in my life. I put a post on my personal blog site today. It's nancyalexander.me if you want to go there. And it's about when my son Matt gave me this little book, this little one about this big, not many pages, called The Prayer of Jabez. And he put in a special note in the front of it. And I started praying that prayer every day. He gave me that book in 1990. And I started praying that prayer every day. And then some of you have heard this story before because I've told it before, but when I would get to the part of the prayer where I would say, and enlarge my territory. Every time I would say it, I would think, why don't I leave this part out? Why am I saying that? I can hardly ride in my car for 30 minutes. How is God going to enlarge my territory? And I was envisioning that in that prayer, you're praying that you want to go to other countries, you want to travel, you want to be a missionary, you want to reach out to others for God. I'm reaching out to others for God. I am reaching out to others for God all over the world. God started enlarging my territory right then. He already had that plan. God is still enlarging my territory today. And it was a few years later, probably about 15 years later, I had said something about, why am I praying this prayer? Because it's not working for me. And it was my same son, Matt, the one that gave me the book. He said, oh, but Mom, God has been answering your prayers. He has been answering your prayers the entire time. Every day when you pray this prayer, He is enlarging your territory. He is changing your life. You are reaching out to others for Him. He is using you in a big way, and this was His plan all along. But I had to walk through the fire and I had to walk through the pain before I could reach you. This is what God wanted me to do in my life. This is my goal. He wanted me to, sorry, I was afraid I would start coughing today. I hope I don't. He gave me a gift, an artistic gift in so many arts and crafts. And that's, as I started feeling a little bit better, even when I couldn't leave home, I started making things. And I started growing my gift, and I started expanding on my gift till I ended up making wreaths. That was a long journey, and I've made it a little short there, but that was in His plan, because He knew eventually, after I had purchased a storefront business in Anderson and gotten a little better and had run it for 13 years, He knew that my health would eventually get the best of me and I just wouldn't be able to do that anymore. So selling wreaths was my answer to keeping on growing a business, selling online. And as I sold wreaths and I would fill in the about section, I would talk a little bit about, at first only just a little bit, about how I had been sick with fibromyalgia, because still at that time, people would think, well, what's wrong with you? Why can't you get up and do things? Why can't you force yourself? You look fine to me. People know now that this is classified as a legitimate disease. It's not in your head. It's not in your mind. It is something physically wrong with your body that you have to take control of. And you can find doctors now to help you do that. But as I was growing that gift and then eventually started selling online, I started reaching people from all over the world. I was selling wreaths all over the world. I was selling wreaths in Japan, Alaska, Australia, other countries. France. I've shipped wreaths so many places I don't even remember. I can't name them all right now. Along with that, those people started following me. They started reading my blog. They started going to my website. They started learning more about Nancy Alexander and what she had been through as she fought this battle of fibromyalgia. They learned about how I gave up many times. Just gave up and prayed for God to take me home because I didn't feel like I would ever have a life on this earth. I didn't feel like I was worth anything. And I know a lot of you ladies feel like that now. You send me emails all the time. You send me private messages. You post in the Facebook group, but you don't get quite as deep and serious as I'm getting here. I want you to know there's a reason that God didn't heal you 5 years ago or 10 years ago, however long it's been since you got sick, or even last year. There's a reason that you may have to fight this battle your whole life. I finally found a doctor who helped me, who changed my life, who gave me back part of my life. But by then, my muscles had been damaged. I will never be perfectly well. I know that. Now I know God can heal me. I know He can heal me instantly, this very moment. But I also know that's not His will for me right now. I know that the shy Nancy Alexander is talking to you right now, that could never even read a Bible verse out loud in Sunday school, could never be sitting here talking to you, reaching hundreds of people, thousands of people, talking about something like this. But God knew I could do it. And when I would pray the prayer of Jabez and get to the part where it said, "And enlarge my territory," God was doing it. And God smiled every time I prayed that prayer. And do you know, my husband and I still, starting about 7 or 8, maybe 9 years ago, my husband and I started praying that prayer together every night. And we still do it. We don't miss a night. And Jabez called upon the God of Israel, "Oh, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my territory, that your hand would be with me, and that you would keep me from evil so that I might not cause pain." It's a very short prayer. We pray it for my name. We pray it for my husband's name and for our boys' names. And we will continue to do that as long as we can speak and as long as we are physically able. Now, many of you are asking me, how can I work? How can I accomplish all that I've accomplished when I've gone through so much? I've had to find within me something that God placed there, and that is a fierce determination to not give in to this. Now, I couldn't find it on my own. I could not force myself to do what I do on my own. I give God all of the credit for everything that I am and have been and ever will be. Now, there are some mornings when I wake up and I think, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stand up. And the first thing that I do is get in a really hot shower. And, hey, Nancy, she says that too. Kind of gets my joints moving, my muscles moving. And my husband makes breakfast for us every morning since he's retired. So I come in the kitchen and he's already got breakfast, and we let the dog out and I feed the dog and the bird. And usually by then I have to sit down till breakfast is ready. I've had a lot more muscle problems lately because I've not been as strict on my diet. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And I never know from one moment to the next how I'm going to feel. And I know a lot of you have asked me, well, when you're going to have a Facebook Live, why don't you announce it the day before? Please tell me so I can be there while you're live. I would love to do that. But the reason that I don't is because sometimes I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to feel this afternoon, or I don't know how I'm going to feel tonight or in the morning when I wake up. So When my body is good, I do all that I can do. But when it's worse and when I'm in more pain, I have to take care of me. That's when I have to just walk away from this computer or walk out of my studio if I'm in there and go and sit down and read or take a nap, which I hate taking a nap in the middle of the day. To me, that's just wasted time. I've learned to just push all day, every day. And Steve reminds me after lunch, he said, you got up early, you didn't sleep well last night, you stayed up late last night. You really need to go and take a nap. I refuse to go and lay down in a bed anymore during the day because I spent almost 5 years in a bed at the beginning. Bad memories. So I'll go and lay down on the couch, prop my feet up. I'll say, okay, wake me up in 30 minutes, or I'll set an alarm. But you have to take care of your body. When your body starts yelling at you, okay, you've pushed me too far, that's enough. You have to slow down. You have to go and rest. Get something healthy to eat, relax, get your mind on something else. Now I'm talking to me as well as I'm talking to you because I don't do this part well. My husband can tell you. I could easily sit here at my desk 12, 14 hours. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I could because there's so much I want to do and I need to do and I feel like I am called to do. Let's talk about food right now. And take it, because we're talking about taking care of your bodies. The first thing, no soft drinks. None. No. I've learned the hard way. I've gotten addicted to Diet Cokes on more than one occasion. That's why I'm drinking my water. And that's why I'm drinking this vitamin water that has no calories, no fat, no sodium, no potassium, no carbs, no sugars, but it has vitamins. Because I had let myself start drinking Diet Cokes again, maybe about one a week, then one a day, and then that's all I want. So I can't ever do that again. My body goes downhill very, very quickly when I drink those. So if you're doing that, stop. That's the first thing. It's got to go. Sugar is really bad for your body. That's another thing I have a really hard time with. I have gone totally sugar-free several times, and it's lasted for years. And I end up going back and adding a little bit at the time, and then my body goes downhill for a while. It reminds me, okay, you shouldn't have done that. Now, one of the main things that I found out 10 years ago, I guess it was 10 years ago, I also have celiac disease. And whether you have celiac or not, gluten is really bad for your body if you have fibromyalgia. That is one thing that will never go in my mouth again for the rest of my life. Not one bite has gone in my mouth since I found out. I also found out that soy was just as bad for me as the gluten. It made me feel just as bad. And I didn't notice it till I'd already left off Diet Cokes and gluten and milk. Milk is not good. I'd left off those. That's when the soy started rearing its ugly head. Every time I ate anything with soy in it, I could tell. My face would get really, really red, really hot, like I was having a hot flash. And I started researching, and yes, if you're allergic to gluten, and if you're having to leave that off, soy is really bad for you. So what you should do, lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, meat that's not fried. You can stir fry it, you can bake it, you can broil it. Not If you can do without any processed foods or canned foods, you're better off. No MSG. An easy way to remember it is, think about years ago when our grandparents, our great-grandparents, when they had, I'm sorry, I'm wiggling around in my chair because my back's hurting. When they grew their own foods and they had their own gardens, do you know there was not such a thing as fibromyalgia back then? It just was not. They were eating healthy. They were not buying all these processed foods with a list of ingredients that long in them that they don't need, that you don't need, I don't need. If you can't pronounce it, if you don't know what it is, don't eat it. If you can eat healthy just like it came from the garden, you're going to get better, and you're going to get better really, really, really quickly. I could tell a difference within 2 weeks. And then I just kept improving and kept improving. So diet is so important. Exercise is important. Now, my fibromyalgia it affects my legs and my hips. Probably more so than any other part of my body. So that makes walking hard for me. It makes exercise hard for me. And I'll walk a little ways and I'll have to stop. And I don't like to do this. I hate to do this. And I used to stay home to keep from doing this. But I do have a wheelchair. And if there's somewhere I want to go and there's going to be a lot of walking, and I know I just physically can't do it, I will finally let my husband put a wheelchair in the car and I'll sit in the wheelchair. But you could ask him. I'm hopping up and down like a jackrabbit because I don't want to stay in it. As soon as we slow down and stop somewhere and I'm looking at something, I'm up walking around and he's sitting in the chair and I'm pushing him. But do whatever you have to do to go places and enjoy life and to move around. And please don't get stuck staying at home. It's really easy to fall into this trap where you just feel sorry for yourself. Bonnie says her hands turn bright red. Well, that probably is from gluten. My fingers turn white and then they turn black. And that's from, there's a disease that goes along with fibromyalgia and celiac. And the name always slips my mind. You probably know what I'm talking about. If you're listening to me today, you are on Facebook. You're probably an artisan learning some kind of craft or already know it. You are working hard to sell online. You're working to earn income. You're working to grow your talents. Raynaud's, that's it. Thank you, Bonnie. Yeah, a lot of us have Raynaud's disease where the cold weather just really, it makes your fingers turn really solid white, like they're frozen. And then they turn black and they hurt. Anyway, let me get back on. I feel like I'm jumping around today. I don't mean to. There's just so much I want to tell you. And I guess I don't have to do it all at one time, do I? Nancy says she's been off soda for a year. Yay. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. Loretta says, I've had this for 16 years, and the longer you have it, the more problems come. Yes, you're right. That means you have to fight even harder. You have to try even harder. You have to be more vigilant about what goes in your mouth and what foods you eat and what you drink and what you do. And we're getting a lot of posts coming in, and I have not read all of them. I think you can see them on the screen as they come in. I appreciate all of you joining in and and telling us what all you're facing too. It really helps others who are facing this to know that so many others fight these same problems. I could try really hard to disguise what's going on in my body, and I have, and I do. But I talk about it now, where before I was embarrassed, I was ashamed. I thought they're not going to understand, so I'm not going to tell them. When they'd ask me how I was doing, oh, I'm great, I'm just fine. Where I would just be having the hardest time to even stand there talking to them. People don't want to hear every detail of all your problems, but if they're your friends and they care about you, they want to know that you're in pain. They want to know that you're suffering. They want to know if they can pray for you and if they can help you. So let them do it. God sent them to do that. That goes back to taking care of you. You can do everything that I've done. You can grow a business. I'm just amazed every day when I think of the business that I have, that God has helped me grow for the reason that He wanted me to have it. This business was not so I can bring in a lot of money and make extra income and show off my beautiful wreaths, and that's not what this business was for. I do make wreaths that I love making. I do love sharing those with you and teaching others how to make them. But that's part of my journey. That's part of the way God wanted me to reach out to you and to let you know that you are strong, you can do it, that with God's help you can do anything. There's Romans 8:28 says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. And Psalms 27:14 says, wait on the Lord, be strong and take heart and wait patiently on Him. Now, that was the part I had a hard time with when I first got sick. Wait on the Lord. Because His timing was certainly not my timing. Because, I prayed every day, tell me right now what you want me to do. I will do it. I will do anything you want me to do for the rest of my life. But I would not have had a voice to be able to reach you right then, would I? So His timing was perfect. No matter what happens to us, no matter what goes on in our lives, God is always saying one thing to us, and that's trust me. And He's also asking us to wait on Him, to wait on His perfect timing. I love each of you, and I am so sorry for those of you who have fibromyalgia and for those of you who are who are suffering from any other chronic illness. I know how hard it is, but I also know that there is a reason, and you're on a path for a reason, and that God knows exactly why, and He's going to be using you if He's not already, because He used me long before I ever realized that He was. So when you get up in the mornings, if you have a hard time moving and getting up and getting going, sit down and spend some time with Him first. Ask Him what He wants you to do that day. Ask Him for the strength to do it. And He'll give you the strength to do what He wants you to do. I am very grateful for you. I'm grateful that you are listening to me tonight so I can hopefully encourage you. I'm grateful for those who are in my Facebook group. Grow with Nancy. And I'm grateful for those of you who have joined my membership site, Nancy's Inner Circle. That's where we're teaching ladies like you how to sell their beautiful, artistic, handmade designs online. And it's so exciting to watch you succeed and to start selling, and no matter what things you faced and what problems you've gone through to get there. That was your path. That was your journey. And we all have those. We all have our own special path in God's light. Okay. I talked for way too long. My book is going to be coming out soon. My journey through fibromyalgia, rumors, ravages, and the rescue. The book is being formatted right now. It's already written. The cover is being finished. So I'll let you know when it's ready, because I definitely want to share it with you. Again, I love you. I hope you have an awesome night. I am thrilled that you are in my Facebook group or on my page listening tonight. And just keep fighting and don't ever give up, because you can do it. I definitely know you can. Talk to you soon. Bye.